When I was younger, I always had an interest in anything scary. My mother always told me it was unhealthy, and now I wish I had paid more attention to her. I don't know if the nightmares began due to my interest or my interest developed because of my nightmares. Either way, I'm ruined. I could never sleep well, always waking out of pure terror or because of my own screaming. Even though the dreams were scary in the moment, they never really stuck with me. That is until about a week ago, when I moved and everything got worse. This is where my story really begins. My mom had just moved away, so I was living with my dad until the end of the school year when I would return to my mom. My dad and brother both worked long hours, leaving before I woke up and getting home long after I returned from school. I had a room upstairs, across from my brother, Nate. There were 3 windows in my room, 2 visible from my bed. Occasionally, I would wake up and feel something watching me, and it always seemed to come from the window facing my bed. I always tried to avoid looking that way at night, as the window had no curtains and I would imagine seeing someone standing outside on the roof. Soon after I first moved in, I began hearing tapping noises on the window. Not every night, but often enough for it to become normal to me. I won't lie, it scared me a little, but I spent too much time home alone to let it bother me. One night, I went to bed early and thought I would actually be able to sleep peacefully. I couldn't have been more wrong. That night, I had the scariest, most vivid dream of my life. I don't even remember what happened in the dream other than seeing this monster. It was in the shape of a person but had no skin, almost as if it had been burnt off. All the muscles and blood were visible, so the overall body was orange and red. It had eyes that were pure black, no mouth, and only a little bump for a nose. It was always crouching and swaying as if ready to run at any given time. It never blinked and just stared at me the whole time, only inches from my face. I woke up terrified, to say the least. I knew I'd never seen anything like this in the movies, so it bothered me how I was able to see it so clearly. I was home alone and decided to reach out to my best friend Lena. Lena and I had been friends since the 7th grade, and at this point, we were juniors in high school. We had done everything together, such as vacationing with her family out of state and missing a week of school to go to Disney World together. But then Lena and I started going to schools 2 hours apart. We talked all day, every day, yet we still missed seeing each other. I used to look back at the pictures from our trips. We were so happy together. So, back to the morning of the dream. I texted Lena and told her all about it. She always understood me, and at this time was no exception. I felt bad, and still feel bad to this day for scaring her so badly. Sometimes I think that if I never told her, things would have ended differently. Nonetheless, she comforted me and assured me that I would feel better soon. I knew she was right, so I pulled myself together and got ready for school. It was the last Friday before spring break, so of course the day dragged on and on. All day I had this feeling that something was off, like I was being watched. I was at school, so there were tons of people around, yet I knew this feeling was different. I made it through the day uneventfully, and then went to my mom's that evening to spend spring break with her. My mom is a nurse and has treated a variety of patients, some with physical ailments and others mental. I tried to explain my dream to her and see if this was common. Of course, she knew my history with an interest in anything scary. She didn't want to hear anything about my dream and dismissed it, saying I watched too many movies. Maybe she was right, but that didn't change how scared I was. That first night, I think I slept for 2 hours at most. My memories from that night are still a little blurry. I can't exactly separate dreams from reality that night. So maybe this happened in real life, or maybe I dreamt it. Either way, I know what I saw. I saw the skinless thing crouched down beside my bed, staring at me again. I remember opening my eyes and it jumped, as if not expecting me to wake up anytime soon. I don't know what happened after this. Maybe I fell back asleep or my dream ended. I woke up, fully alert this time, and saw that it was only 4 a.m. I knew I wouldn't be able to sleep again, so I texted Lena and told her what had happened. Of course, she was asleep, so her reply came hours later. She was just as scared and hadn't been able to stop thinking about the monster since I told her about it. I felt so awful for scaring her like that. That day, I could barely function. My fear had almost paralyzed me. I knew talking to my mom wouldn't be no help, so I dealt with it on my own. By that, I mean never leaving my room and fear that the skinless thing would be outside waiting for me. This could only go on for so long. I went there to see my mom after all. Later that day, we went to the movies together, and then she went right to bed when we got home. I knew sleep wasn't an option for me, so I went into my room to watch Netflix for a while until I got hungry and decided to go into the kitchen. It's a short walk from my room to the kitchen, but I walked past the window facing our backyard. My mom left the back light on, and as I walked past the window, I tried not to look, but the light made that difficult. I looked outside only for a second, but I saw it. The skinless thing wasn't just in my dreams. It was just outside, crouching right by the stairs leading to the back door. I was already past the window when these thoughts registered. I immediately went back to look out again, but nothing was there. I went back to my room and felt completely empty. I felt like I was going crazy or living in some awkwardly written horror story. Needless to say, I didn't sleep at all that night. My mom woke up around 8 the next morning and was surprised to see I was already awake. Once again, I tried telling her about the nightmare and how I saw that monster the night before. She dismissed me yet again, so I texted the whole story to Lena. I asked her if she wanted to come over, to which she said yes, she'll be right there. When Lena got to my house, I felt a lot better. I always felt better when she was around. We spent a few days at my mom's with no sightings of the skinless thing. We talked about it nonstop, and I still wondered who was more scared. It seemed like we both saw it exactly the same way, but she was always better at putting her thoughts into words. She described it as looking like diagrams in anatomy books, which was eerily accurate. We went back to my dad's house together on Wednesday of that week. My dad and Nate went to bed early, so Lena and I were left to find something to do. Neither of us wanted to wake up my family, so we decided to sit on the roof outside of my bedroom window. This is where I always heard the tapping coming from, so I took this chance to see if there were any animal footprints on the roof. I found nothing but a few smudges on the window along with a small crack. It looked like as if someone had taken a knife and was slowly scraping away the glass. Lena said maybe it was the skinless thing trying to break into my room. She thought she was funny, but I didn't appreciate it as much. We were on the roof for about an hour, just talking and listening to music together. It seemed to get darker as the night went on. All the stars disappeared as if something had scared them away. The only light outside came from a lamp in my room, not even bright enough to illuminate Lena and I right outside the window. I was always afraid of the dark, but for some reason, I found that night to be peaceful. Probably because Lena was there with me. I wish that night could have lasted a little longer. About 2 a.m., Lena and I heard rustling sounds, and then a dull thump. I had 3 dogs, so we both tried to believe it was one of them moving around. A few minutes later, I asked Lena if she felt strange. She instantly said yes, but she didn't want to scare me by saying she felt like we were being watched. Too late for not scaring me. I had the exact same feeling. We both looked towards the end of the roof where no light was shining. We tried to dismiss our fears, saying we were just paranoid. We tried to lighten the mood by laughing it off and sending pictures to each other on Snapchat. Within the next few minutes, I lost a part of me. It's a bit of a blur, but I know what happened. I turned on my camera's flash and took a picture of Lena. The flash stunned both of us a bit, so it took a minute for our eyes to adjust to my phone screen. We looked at the picture at the same time, and there it was. The skinless thing, just a few feet behind Lena, crouching as if ready to attack her. We looked at my phone for maybe 5 seconds, then I heard Lena screaming, felt myself falling, and I heard a sickening crunch. It was all black after that. I woke up in a hospital with a broken arm and a minor concussion. According to the doctors, I had fallen off my roof. I immediately asked where Lena was, only to receive confused looks. I asked again, becoming frustrated. Lena had been to my house countless times, gone on vacation with me, and met my entire family. Yet they claimed they had no idea who I was talking about. My world began falling apart in that moment. I became hysterical, accusing everyone of lying to me. I was sent to a psychologist, where I was diagnosed with severe schizophrenia. The doctor told me there was no Lena, and I had made her up. I couldn't believe anyone around me. I just wanted to go home. How could I have simply make up a person, let alone my best friend? As soon as I got home, I went directly to the vacation photos with Lena. It was only my family and I. This couldn't be happening. I knew Lena went with us. I had looked at those pictures hundreds of times. I couldn't handle it anymore. I went to my room and slept for the rest of the day. I woke up in the middle of the night with a sudden realization. The picture I took at the night of the attack. I checked my phone, and sure enough, the picture was there. Lena was sitting right on the roof, exactly the way I imagined her, along with the skinless thing. Lena, I am so sorry. I know you're real, and I know I'll see you again. I'm going on the roof now, and I'm waiting for that monster. It will bring us back together soon.
This concludes our story. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed the content. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.